Hello YouTube and Mr. Forks. Now, one thing you may notice is that in all of my tutorials there are no cuts or anything. That's because I'm lazy. I like to do my tutorials in one go, and I use ScreenFlick to record, and it's pretty good at compressing, and I don't want to mess around with decompressing stuff after editing it. So I've already done this tutorial, but I'm going to do it again because I messed up and I don't like to mess up in front of you guys. I also just want to apologise for that After Effects tutorial with the girl at the start. If you haven't watched it, don't. If you have, I'm very sorry. Um, I don't have the original footage, so I can't re-upload it. But, you know, we'll see. Okay, right, so obviously I know you guys want After Effects tutorials, but there's not many tutorials for Shake, so I wanted to give something to the Shake community. Because there's so many tutorials on how to do stuff in After Effects, I want to show you guys how to do it in Shake, because Shake is still pretty industry standard. I mean, I know Nuke is, you know, getting there, but it's not Shake, let's be honest. So first off, what we're going to do, we are going to create an overnode. Overnode, we're going to be creating a muzzle flash. So, in order to have a muzzle flash on top of footage, you need it to be over the top of it. Also, one thing I did just before I spoke to you guys, if you click on the time view, you can see that I've lined my my muzzle flash, as I've called it muzzle flash. To name a element, you double click it. Or just click it once, which loads it into the parameters, and you can change its name to the plate, which is, for you guys, you know, it's the plate, which is another name for the footage you're working on. Double click the overnode to load that into the viewer. So I've literally grabbed the muzzle flash, which was originally right at the start, and I've lined it up to start at frame 26, because that is roughly when our cool guy starts shooting. So double click overnode, and as you can see, this ain't looking too pretty. It's an automatic muzzle flash, so it's a bit static at the moment. So a few things we want to do. First off, we want to blur the edge of the muzzle flash. I'm going to work on making this muzzle flash look pretty first. So what can we do to do that? We can go into Image, Rotoscope, and click on the left hand side of the overnode and the right hand side of the rotoscope, and go on to frame 26 and zoom in, press the plus key, and we're going to draw around our muzzle flash. And why are we doing this? Very simple, because it's a very harsh edge on where the muzzle flash is coming out of. So if we just draw that shape, yep, that's a complete shape now. Select the shape, we're going to go Filter, Blur, double click the rotoscope to load it into the viewer, and as you can see, the rotoscope is a bit, well, it's off center. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the shape so that it's center, and like that, and then blur. Select the blur, which loads the parameters in the right hand side of the blur, and then see where it says pixels. That's how many pixels you want to blur it. I'm going to blur it a few. Hit the plus key to see what we're playing at. There we go. And then select the blur node, and we're going to go Image. No, we're not. Don't know what I'm playing at. We're going to go Layer. No, we're not. What am I playing at? We're going to go Transform. Move 2D, because as you can see, this ain't going to line up anymore. We're going to go click the left hand side of the overnode, right hand side of the Move 2D, and we're going to line it up. So minus key to zoom out, and line it up so that roughly it starts to blur on the right. Now we can't get it exactly right now, but we're going to do. So select the Move 2D node, and then we go Layer, Inside, and go and grab the muzzle flash. Oh, grab the muzzle flash, plant it inside there. Sorry, other way round. Grab the lower half of that, grab it like that. Beautiful, and then stick that into the overnode. So we're going to rearrange this so we can understand what's going on a bit more. Basically, got a muzzle flash going into is over the top of our plate, but we've got a mask just to obscure the harsh edge. So we go back into our overnode and grab our Move 2D node, right hand side, sorry. As you can see, we're just going to move it so that it starts to blur. There you go, it started to blur a bit more. Grab our inside, and we're going to go transform, move 2D, and we're going to line it up with our gun. But as you can see, as the footage, as the guy moves, it's not going to line up anymore. So go back to frame 26 when he starts shooting. Select our plate, and we're going to go transform, stabilize. Now I try to put a bit of energy into these tutorials because there's nothing worse than lots of people that try to make tutorials and they're just boring as hell, and you're just like, why are you making tutorials? If you don't enjoy it, then stop. But they carry on anyway. So we're going to line it up with the torch because I know that's a pretty good tracking point, and we're going to press this button right here, which is track from current frame. If you don't know what an item is or what it does, look down here. This is the info line. See, even if you hover over the info line, it tells you what it does, which is pretty funny, I think. Analyze forward. I'm just going to scan through tracking this torch. Now, I can stop there, but it doesn't want to. It's going to carry on. Beautiful. So it's got some tracking points. What we're going to do now is grab our plate and plug it back into the overnode. So now we've just got this stabilized node which doesn't know what it's doing. So grab our Move 2D, plug it into the stabilize, and change it from stabilize to match, and click where it says inactive to make it active. And now beautiful, lines up like a beautiful thing. Ah, oh, wonderful. Isn't shake just, oh god, gee Louise. So very quickly we've made a muzzle flash that lines up. Now obviously if you were to be given this still, you'd think that doesn't look right. So obviously there's lots of things you can do to the muzzle flash, and you've got two options. You can colour the muzzle flash here, or you can colour the muzzle flash here. If I were you, I'd do it here, mainly because if you're going to start doing anything else or add any special effect to this, you don't want it to mess up with your effects that you've added. So click on the stabilize node and choose maybe it's too clear. Click a blur. Now for some reason it's doing that. So in this case it is actually better to put your effects up here. I'll just click it then. Fine, I'll be boring for you. Okay. I think about you every day. Right, what the hell? The hell, guys? Okay, let's try that. So now when we go into our overnode, Select the right hand side of the blur. There you go, it's starting to blur now, which is what we wanted. Now you do need to mess around with this rotoscope a bit, and rotoscope, I wouldn't mess around with that yet because this isn't really a tutorial for rotoscoping, but it just gave us a bit of blur towards this side of it, because it's starting to give us a bit of an edge. And just go through, try and make it look right, so you can even go into the colour. What I notice is that it is way oversaturated compared to the rest of the image, but we're actually out of time. Just look for the saturation node, which is here. But I've got to go, so I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. See you soon. Rate,